Okay, if you're not talking, can you go on mute, please? Thank you. Yep. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning, everyone. So we are on the 17th edition, 17, not 70 yet. So we are on the 17th edition for this Sunday webinar series, like which we started around maybe around April. And since then, apart from that Kolkata Agile Kolkata event and the Durga Puja disruption, right? So we have been continuing with these workshop series or webinar series, right, for the last 17 weeks. So today we have a very interesting topic to discuss, which is very relevant, which is possibility, evolution, and challenges of AI in the telecom industry. Now, when it comes to telecom industry, like the few tagline comes to our mind. So if you remember around, 2000, 2003, 2002, like there was some famous tagline, like connecting people wherever you go, our network follows. Your signal, our strength, network that never let you down. Connectivity, connecting lives, one call at a time. So whenever you talk about these type of taglines, the one thing that comes to our mind is connection, right? How can we connect people who are right remotely placed? And we have seen that the telecommunication also has evolved over time, starting with the basic telephony, then VoIP, right? Then the wireless communication, then right cellular communication, right? And then optical fiber communication, etc., etc. Now, today we have a very interesting speaker, like a very reputed speaker also, like who is coming from Ericsson. So I would like to use I cannot resist myself in using their tagline called Imagine Possible, which is the recent one, and which emphasizes its focus on the future and the transformative potential of 5G and limitless connectivity. So ultimately, it all boils down to the right connection. Now, we have seen that, like as I was telling, that we have seen that a lot of challenges that the telecommunication sector has been going through for the last 2 to 3 decades. But with artificial intelligence, it is becoming now more smarter, more predictive, and deeply personalized. Now, we all have been struggling with a lot of challenges, right, while using the telecommunication on the network, right? So maybe signal quality getting dropped. There are huge spam calls, right, coming with 140, right, etc., which we understood, right, sometime 22, sometime 140, etc. And for the cyber security, like ensuring the precise location tracking, and the most embarrassing thing in all our life is reduction of the call drops. But we have seen a significant improvement in all these aspects, right, in the last maybe 5 to 10 years when AI has come into the picture and has taken up a lot of responsibility and the manual support. If you can go on mute, please. Right, if you're not talking, can you go on mute? Let me just check. Just give me a moment. Bindu, if you can go on mute, please. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so coming back to the discussion but as we know that with great power comes great responsibility. So now when the AI is coming into the picture, the data ethics, legacy integration, cost, and the skill transformations are equally pressing concerns. So in these fireside chat, we have a speaker, right, who is having extremely great experience on the telecom industry, and we would like to explore all these things and how what had been the challenges, and how the challenges are mitigated, and what is coming to us as an offering, right, in the coming days. That is something, right, which would like to hear from our today's speaker, Paramita Ghosh. So let me take this opportunity to introduce Paramita to this discussion. So Paramita is a seasoned leader with over 2 decades of experience in the telecom industry. Currently serving as a general manager in Ericsson, she has proven track record in service delivery, business strategy, cross-functional collaboration, transformation, and capacity management, driving operational excellence and business growth. Now, with extensive expertise in 5G, cloud, Azure, AWS, and telecom innovation, Paramita has led large-scale global programs, optimized service operations, and ensured strategic alignment with the business objective. Her leadership has transformed teams, increased profitability, and enhanced delivery governance. Previously, she has held key positions in IBM and Wipro. IBM used to be my previous organization as well. I worked 15 years over there, gaining deep industry insight and global exposure, and advocate for diversity, inclusion, and innovation. She brings a strategic mindset to every challenge, ensuring a sustainable growth and efficiency in the telecom service delivery. Now, before I ask the first question to Paromita, now telecommunication has always been even though I did not get an opportunity to work in a telecom domain, but that has been my one of my favorite subject because I did my graduation I did my BTech in telecommunication, right, from Calcutta University, Rajabhajar Science College. So I had some interest, though I have forgotten most of the concept. But while I was going through these things, like some of the concepts were coming to me, right, and that is the reason today's topic is very very close to my heart. So let us start with some basics, right? So setting the foundation why we are requiring AI in the telecom. Now, telecom companies process massive amount of data. I think they are using the maximum amount of data, right? I mean, of course, like there are other industries also who are working on the data, but they are using the maximum data. Data is the key. Data is the life, right, for any telecom industry. And every second, they're using the data and managing that manually is almost impossible today with everyone. Almost everyone is having smartphone, right, and with great data package and the calling facility, free calling facility, etc., etc. Now we have seen that after the AI has come to I mean, coming to the telecom industry as a I would say as a companion. So what makes AI such a critical pillar for the telecom operations today? Because earlier most of the things were kind of manual or maybe intelligent automation. But how come AI is becoming such a critical pillar for the telecom operations today? How has it moved from being just a support function, right, to a strategic driver? So from an intelligent automation or automation, like how it was providing, and now it is becoming a strategic partner or strategic driver for the telecom industry. So we would like to explore on that. Paramita, your thoughts?
Thank you, Shubha, for inviting me and such a nice introduction. I'm overwhelmed. And this is such a good question to start with because infrastructure, it was the main part of telecom earlier about assets, towers, cables, switches, boxes. It was all these when we talked about telecom about a decade ago. But now network is not static anymore. As you were saying, it's huge amount of data is getting generated and the network is now live. It's like breathing, growing and healing all at the same time. Just when you mentioned, Shubha, about a huge amount of data, to put into perspective, we had the Mahakumbh Mela in 2025,
Right.
right? And any guesses on average daily how many mobile users were using the network in that area? It was 20 million users were active
God.
daily, and they generated 400 million data service requests through the network. So
Mhm.
you can understand the whooping volume that we are dealing with. And it is not humanly possible to handle all these volumes. Think about somebody running up the towers and then tweaking the boxes to handle this amount of data. It's not humanly possible.
Correct.
So AI is coming into the picture where it is handling volume. It
Mhm.
is also managing the intelligence because there is so much of data there. A lot of intelligence is getting generated. So AI is helping manage those intelligence as well in a live environment. And then it strategizes the network. So now AI is supporting everything. It's supporting efficiency, it's supporting customer experience, it's supporting innovation, it's supporting growth. So essentially, it is moving from the support function to the strategic backbone. Early days, it was only about repetitive tasks. So we are having manual tasks which AI used to do it for the human beings, like
Correct.
ticket resolution,
Mhm.
like repetitive monitoring, the same task being monitored at every frequency. But network is far too dynamic for these days.
Absolutely.
With the 5G coming in, IoTs, the Internet of Things, and the cloud native systems, they are generating billions of data points every second. So it's no longer possible to manage them manually. Then, when AI steps in, it's just not an assistant. It's an
Mhm.
intelligence layer across the entire ecosystem. Let me take you through what kind of things are happening in operations.
Mhm.
As you can understand, it is moving from the reactive to a predictive
Proactive.
model.
Yeah. Mhm.
So previously, what happened is whenever there is a fault, the fastest method was to fix that. So that was where we were gaining efficiency. But now it is more of monitoring, monitoring at every time and sensing what can go wrong and fix even before the actual problem occurs.
Correct.
So it is like a predictive model right now. And for the business strategy, Shubho, which you asked,
Mhm.
it is enabling the personalized customer experience. For example, you will see uh, a lot of pricing or a lot of packages are being offered to the
Correct.
customer, and then your offers, which is you are being offered, and mine will be different because our usages are different. So what AI is doing is learning the usage from every user, which is the user's intent,
Mhm.
and then on the intent based networks, just for an example, pricing,
Mhm.
we are being offered different kinds of pricing here.
Mhm.
And this analytics as a service is what the enterprise is getting out of AI. So AI is in a way maturing the telecom from an infrastructure industry, which I initially started with as assets, boxes,
Mhm.
etc., now to an intelligence industry. It's just not automating tasks these days. It's amplifying human judgment, it's accelerating innovation, and it's anchoring how telcos are growing in the next decades.
Correct. Thank you. Now that's a actually great summary, right, of the how AI has. I mean, in fact, from the manual operations, how we have leveraged AI, and it has become a kind of integral component of the kind of telecom industry, not just kind of AI assistant. In fact, you have answered some bit of the second question as well, that wherever we were trying to understand how it has right grown from the manual operations to the intelligent network. Now, the telecom industry has witnessed, right, as you have rightly said, but we would like to focus more on some of the key milestone that
Hmm.
we have seen in the past 2 decades. Like we have seen telecom industry has witnessed an incredible journey from the
Yep.
manual monitoring to the fixed infrastructure, like as you said, like switches, boxes, towers, etc., to AI-driven autonomous network. So
Hmm.
how has, if I try to just break it into some key milestone, right, that it has achieved over a last 2 or 3 decades, how would you like to summarize that?
A very interesting journey, I might say. It started a couple of decades ago with automating tickets, okay, fault management, customer support, where it was more about efficiency and faster resolution, cheaper resolution. Then about 2015 to 2018, with the 4Gs coming in, massive amount of data started generating. So AI then started handling volumes. So AI ops and the intent-based networks coming in, then the 5G hit the road in 2000s. So AI
Mhm.
was not then fixing, it started sensing um, and preventing. Like it senses congestion, it's then readouts the traffic as needed. It is more of optimizing the network.
Mhm.
And now is the agentic era. So what we are seeing in the research phases now and will be hitting the road somewhere in 2030 is more of the agentic AI, and the 6G is also coming in. It will be more of the optimizing capacity and network plan. So it is the AI's journey has mirrored most of the telecom journey, where it has moved from reactive to predictive stage.
Right.
And previously, we were more of efficiency focused.
Mhm.
Now it is more experience focused. It's not only about the efficiency. Efficiency is absolutely there at the heart of the system, but
Right.
it's more about how the users are feeling about the network. How you and me, we as users, when we pick up our phone, how we feel. Are we having a smooth experience or not? So it's more
Mhm.
about that.
Right. Now, a great point indeed, Paramita. But now, whenever we talk about telecommunication, right, or telephony or whatever, the primary two concern which comes into mind is the signal quality and the call drop.
Mm.
These are the two first frustrating things. Now, I would like to cite few examples before I actually go into the question. Already, you have given a very nice example of the Kumbh Mela, right? That
Mm.
has been the kind of I would say, great example of how we have improved, right, over a period of time. Now, in the year of 2003, when I started my career, I would like to give, I joined in Hyderabad. So I don't know how many of you have worked in Hyderabad. In Hyderabad, what used to happen on the 31st of December, people used to, all of them used to go to Hussain Sagar.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
I mean, we just around that lake, everyone comes in, and as soon as the right the time clocks, right, 12:00, people start. Right, naturally, people start sending SMSs, right? People start sending the or right calling, and all of a sudden, such a huge traffic that people are not able to make any calls. In fact, people are not able to find their friend because kind of they are kind of getting dispersed. Now, those were again cutting from that Hyderabad, right? If we come to Boimala or Book Fair, right? In those who are in Kolkata, same thing. Whenever the right huge congestion is happening at that point in time, we were facing a lot of right challenges. Now, and this has been happening right for quite a few years, or maybe 10 years or so since we have since. I mean, till then, I mean, after that we have seen some bit of improvement. Now, today I'm talking about today, right, 2025. I stay near Marathali, right, in Bangalore. Now, the place I stay, there are almost 100 PG, right? And trust me, still the networks are so pathetic. Take Vodafone, right? Take or whatever you call it, VI or Geo or Airtel, no matter whatever it is, it's pathetic. After 2 or 3 minutes, or even if you move, your network drops, your call drops. And sometimes my wife yells at me that, come on, right? You better call, give me a call on the WhatsApp, but don't call me, right? With this kind of normal calling facility. So the point is like this is very frustrating, and especially like whenever we are going in a business call, etc., etc. When you get a business call, and I kept trying changing my SIM card with the local SIM card, etc., etc., but nothing improved. So point is right. This is I'm sure like this is everyone's experience, not only my experience. But question is, people say right, AI is now playing a major role in analyzing the traffic data and predicting congestion. Whenever they're expecting a huge congestion, they're dynamically right doing some adjustment and optimizing the coverage. So my question is it really helpful? Is it really happening? How is AI helping operators deliver better signal quality and reduce call drops, especially as network demands explode with 5G and IoT?
Yep. I think a couple of days back I had the same experience. Me and Prabhat, we tried to talk, and then I we called on each other's mobile, and the network was pathetic. I was just sitting at my home. So the experience is real. There's no denying in that. And when we moved to an app-based call, it was
Hmm,
far better because we have the Wi-Fi's at home, or because
correct.
the Wi-Fi connections are better. Now, if you see previously the telephony, it was from towers, IoT devices, users. So there's a lot of data which is being generated, a lot of data volumes which is being generated traditionally, which would be optimized in a manual way. Now, when with the current volume, this is not possible anymore. So
Mhm.
today's before going to AI, let me come into a little bit of more telecom driven thing.
Right.
With the 5G, when everybody is saying these things will improve, how will these things improve? If we slice the network, that means is if we have some critical things going in one particular bandwidth and then the volumes in another particular bandwidth, we can optimize the things. But then slicing is only possible when we have standalone 5Gs, which is
Correct.
not there anymore, not there yet in India full-fledged, but I'm sure it will be, the things will be improving with the bandwidth, with the spectrum being in discussion in negotiations. Those will be improved. Now, when we have think about the situation that you are in a very big event, as you were mentioning, Hyderabad 31st night or book fair here, and somebody is trying to make a payment. Within
Mm-hmm.
all this data, the
Exactly.
critical thing becomes jeopardized. So
Right.
to have those kind of things where we have a particular dedicated bandwidth where the critical things will go. So this slicing is very important. And if I bring AI into this, it will be a self-optimizing network. So it will, what AI has to do once all this infrastructure or the basic things are sorted, it has to detect the weak signals, which is at some pockets it is still doing. The
Mm-hmm.
infrastructures are not that widely spread at this point of time, but these things will become very normalized. It will detect the weak signals, it will be predicting any congestion, and then it will take decision that okay, there might be a congestion in this area.
Mm-hmm.
We will have allocate additional bandwidth, or we will reroute some of the things to some nearby cells. So those decisions AI models can do when it is doing the continuous learning. So it's not resting, right?
Right.
Every time, whatever is happening, even before 31st, the, the year before 31st also, AI was learning.
Correct.
30th, it was also learning. 1st of January, the next day, it is also learning.
Right.
So since it is continuously learning, it is analyzing various parameters like signal to noise ratio, how many handover failures are there, what is the tower load pattern in some of the areas. So according to all these learnings that AI has, it can identify if a tower can be vulnerable for getting choked in
Correct.
some time. Then it will take the actions accordingly, like allocate a bandwidth, offload some of the users to a nearby cell, etc. So this is very, very real. I faced only a few days. Prabhat, if you want to add some experience from your end as well, you are welcome.
Yeah, sure, Paramita. Thanks for actually talking about that. I definitely would want to say here, Shubho and everyone, that imagine the entire telecom network as a living being. If you
Hmm.
actually think that it is not just about wires, towers, antennas, and all of that, but
Correct.
it's more like a responsive organism, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I say this, this is how the 5G infrastructure, where we talk about towers, antennas, edge devices, fibers, and all of that, they are more like the nerves, right?
Hmm.
Carrying signals, transmitting
Exactly.
sensations, all of that, right? And the AI layer here is more like our brain, okay? Because it is the one which is interpreting those signals, identifying the pain, predicting issues, and all of that in milliseconds. And when we were actually talking with Paramita and I, we were having conversations. I just would want to say that the moment I switched to WhatsApp call, I saw much clearer line. And which is why
Exactly.
I say, yeah, that when a cell tower's performance drops,
Hmm.
AI is probably the one which can detect the pain signal instantly. It
Hmm.
can identify the probable causes, it can interfere with the power fluctuations and all of that. And this is something which we can try to leverage the power of AI here to reroute the traffic or adjust parameters or things like that. So maybe that's just my thought. I wanted to share that, Paramita. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhat. Thank you. And
Shubho and Paramita, do we park the questions till the end, or do we do it based on the individual
You can,
topic?
generally we park it, but if you find it relevant, Abhijit, you can go ahead.
Okay, okay. So one quick thought, Paramita, and this is, I'm not a telecom expert as you or most of the others in the call are. So as a consumer and understanding that signal or the basic bandwidth in our country has fallen weak in some certain places. People struggle to get hold of the signal in a normal, uh, wireless call. And I'm not talking about data here. I mean, not data calls.
Mhm.
So
Normal phone, telephonic phone
normal
calls.
normal telephonic calls,
Yeah.
wireless, not, and we have stopped using, the normal PSTN lines nowadays.
Mm.
So, assuming that the basic infrastructure, and that is where you started off with, is we are working towards it. The the policymakers, the telecom companies, all of us as technology professionals, we are working towards it. But still, keeping in mind that that our country is a population of more than what we could think of, and the penetration of smartphones is very high in our
Very
country
high.
today.
Rural
So
areas
the
as well.
number of subscribers have gone up, exponentially over the last 5 to 10 years. So managing the network and the bandwidth has become a challenge, which is understandable. So we cannot go back to a Vodafone idea and tell them, "Hey, my signal is dropping every time. What the hell are you doing?" So it is not right for us as consumers to assess Vodafone idea on the basis of the poor network.
Right.
But at the same time, you were talking about now, coming to AI. You were talking about AI playing a role in operations, which is understandable. Playing a role in strategy for the telecom operators. And for the timing, let us assume we are talking about our country, because there would be different regulations, different customer or subscriber
Geopolitical
base in different countries.
situation.
Geopolitically, yes. So let's consider our country. Now, you were talking about customer experience. You were talking about other areas, and mostly predictions and how do we react based on those predictions.
Yeah.
So predictive analytics has been there for quite some time now. So it is not AI that has given rise to predictive analytics. So we, as telecom service operators, we probably had that data for years now, and we could do predictions because that capability is something that is there with technology professionals for the last 10 to 15 years. AI might be a little new in the new kid in the block, but predictive analytics has been there. So with that, how is it changing is my question number one. And two is, how do you see operations? फिर भी चलो मैंने मान लिया कि AI is playing a role. But how do you see AI playing a role in strategy, particularly?
I'll take that.
I just wanted to add that I am a very strong proponent of AI, but I also want to understand from experts like you is how is the telecom sector reacting to or adopting to AI? Because just if we say as a telecom service provider, we are using AI for our strategy, it might not make sense. So where is it actually playing a role? And if you can give us some maybe live case studies, if that's possible to be shared.
Yeah, no, which are very valid questions because when we say that predictive analysis, etc., these were probably few of the things that we studied in our academics in statistics and different. So the concept was there or from very beginning. However, what AI is bringing in is when we have the data volume to up to sky high, these predictions are not being able to be done by human beings. So these analysis are to be done by some agents or some programs, and then they can take various decisions depending on the outcome of it and the learnings that they had with all the data with all these years coming in. So what AI is helping in is probably we can say in a new package. It's doing the predictions, but with an inhumanly large database. So the data volume is so much. That's one. And on the strategies side that I wanted to mention to you was about when we say business strategies is not about where in which areas the next money will be going in or the next investments will be going in for big companies, but what kind of um, offers the customers may find. So if the marketing team is giving me these kinds, that the rural team or the rural my customer base is asking for more on the data which are, or more on the offers which are cheaper, and my urban people are asking for the packages where I am having uh, specialized treatments, if I may say. Now, in those cases, the AI is helping to learn the data and coming up with the proper user to offer mapping. So these are the areas where these strategies are coming. But bigger strategies on the geopolitical side and all, if some war is there, um, what kind of telecom things that we will need, what kind of telecom equipments that we should need. Obviously, the human in the line will be there for for doing those or taking those decisions. And telecom industry overall worldwide is facing the challenge of stagnation. That means the people used to have a lot of or used to consume a lot of data and then pay the price. But then the price has become capped these days. Overall, the RPUs are going low, and the users are having unlimited data connections, unlimited data. So the amount of investment is not getting proportional to the not getting proportional to the profitability of the organizations. And this is not any specific country. India is also facing the similar issues. The Southeast Asia or the African countries, the European countries are also facing the same issues. The strategies are more on these sites where it is what kind of offers will be there, just to an example. And these are telecom strategies, but overall business strategies will still be with the human beings and the human on the line.
Understood. Thanks, Paramita. Just one short addition, and you know, kind of playing the devil's advocate here. So, if you look at the largest, or some of the Indian e-commerce players also, and we all are shopping online today, and even maybe if you go back 6, 7, 8 years down the line, I mean, back in the uh, days where we started using the Flipkarts, Mintras, or Amazons of the world, these kinds of strategies and recommendations were still there, even without AI. So you would go to a particular product catalog, visit that, come back, and then they would look at the abundant cart and throw recommendations, promotions, and different kind of offers to you. Was AI there at that time? Probably no, but then still it was there. So if we are doing the same thing, then what is AI additionally bringing me?
We like to say AI as, or we like to propone, as you are also saying that you are a big proponent of AI as well. It is not replacing human being, but enabling human beings with a lot of assistance, as well as a little bit more ability to handle a lot of data. So the volume is one major area that I say that AI is helping human beings with. The human beings will still be relevant.
Data lake
AI
should
will
do that,
never.
right, Paramita? Data lake
Yeah.
should be able to take care of that. The data warehouse and data lake, the
Mhm.
combined stack should be able to take care of that.
Should be. And all these things, data lakes, machine learning, all these things combined can be a part of what we are calling AI these days. So these are all related items. AI individually cannot be working unless all these pieces work together, including human being.
Excellent. Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. It is a very relevant question.
Yeah. Thank you, Vijita. Thank you so much for bringing that question forward. So coming back to our original discussion of the challenge that we were facing in terms of a huge network demand, or whenever there is a congested area or the call drops, etc., etc. So what we were seeing is as you rightly said, and whenever you talked about the strategy, so I could understand, I could summarize. There are two type of strategies making. One is the business strategy, another one is the technical strategy. Now, whenever we talk about the business strategy, one could be right? How to scale up the business, and with profitability, of course, without profitability, no one can sustain, right, in the long run. So that is definitely going to be the situation. Okay, I can give you great network, but I'm not making money. It's not going to be sustainable. So
Right.
there has to be a balance around that. Now, coming back to the original question that you talked about slicing, right? You talked about right, healing, self-healing system, etc. So if I try to go a little deeper into it, so with millions of connected devices, manual network management simply does not scale, right? It's not possible, right? As you also said. And that's where the AI-based self-optimization, right, or the self-healing system comes into picture. So my question is, if I go a little deeper into it, so how are AI algorithms enabling autonomous and self-correcting network that can detect and fix the issues in real-time situation? You talked about little, remember you talked about the patterns. Okay, that I understand. But whenever the real-time situation comes in, right, how can we handle that situation?
Right. A little bit of technical stuff might be. So
Yeah.
when the AI is, or when the telecom is moving from the reactive to the proactive self-healing stage, few things are monitored, like traffic patterns, as you just mentioned, the signal quality, and the user behaviors. So once we have these analysis done, then the anomalies come up, like if there is a possible congestion in the line, if there can be interference in the line, or there can be potential outages. Once something is detected, then it can be handled. Like there are possibilities of allocating more bandwidth to the existing system.
Right.
So with the cloud coming in, with the cloud infrastructures there, this is very easy to have. So we allocate more bandwidth there.
Right.
We can also reroute the traffic to some nearby cells where some of the users will be handled by a different tower, not this tower, because this tower is getting choked. And also in the same tower, in the same bandwidth, some network parameters can also be readjusted. Same by the system. No one is there, no human being is there till some point, and there always be an upper limit and lower limit within which the AI can work. And with all these things, any potential outages which has not come yet can be prevented. And with all these things that it has done, now this whole thing, identifying or learning the parameters, seeing the anomalies there, what the decision was it made, this again becomes a test case, or this again becomes a use case that the network learns. With every hiccup, the network learns. So that's how it is. It happens.
Excellent. Now, another frustrating area, right, in the telecom area is the spam call detection and the fraud detection, of course, right? And spam call is one of the very right frustrating, and we all have been victim of them. Now, few years back also, we used to know that okay, anything that comes up with 140 is a spam call. Now, these days, we are seeing some intelligence brought into the picture that whenever this kind of, at least to some extent, right, we are saying, okay, geo spam call detection, probable spam call, right, likely a spam, right?
Airtel as
Right,
well.
Airtel as well, and iPhone, of course, like it is there.
Yeah.
So how, and I'm not saying it is still foolproof, but yeah, to a considerable extent, it has. Now, there is always a fight, right, between like an ethical hacker and a hacker. So there is always a fight between like the spam call detection, and they are also the people who are actually sending the spam call. They are finding new ways to right still shoot these kind of spam calls.
Very innovative calls.
Very innovative calls. So especially the insurance calls, right? Okay, the loan calls, right? So those are right becoming very irritating these days. So question is, how is AI helping telecom companies tackle the spam and the fraudulent calls, enhance cyber security, because that is the key thing right now. And we have been seeing the digital concept of digital arrest and many other things, right? People are asking for OTP and all those stuff. So what are the challenges in ensuring genuine calls are not mistakenly flagged?
So there are two parts to it. One is how the users are being protected, or AI is trying to give protection to them, and how the organizations are being protected by AI. So the security part of it, what goes into the input, again, AI is again a model, right? So there are some inputs like call patterns, voice signals, user behaviors. These all goes to the input criteria, and then based on that, the AIs will have their own algorithms to find if there is a possibility of the fraud calls to protect the users. However, when it comes to the organization, the inputs become different. The inputs are like unusual network activities, strengthens the cybersecurity part if there is breakage in there, and by all these things, the AI will try to protect an organization by strengthening their cybersecurity and preventing hacking.
Mhm.
Now, there is still a wrong way to go. There can be cases like false, 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 true, true, false, etc. What
Correct.
it means as if there is a detection that it is false, however, it was actually a great call or it
Mhm.
was a valid call, legitimate call. For example,
Mhm.
I faced this only yesterday with myself that somebody came to me with a package delivery, and then the person who was calling, that phone was detected as
Exactly.
fraud,
Got
and
it.
then my phone has blocked it,
Mhm.
and somehow I could hear that person calling my name in front of my house, that I could, but that is not what is acceptable, right? So it is still learning. False negative cases are these, but false positives are more dangerous. That means
Right.
actually it was fraud, but
False,
it was
false.
not. Yes,
Oh, okay,
so
okay,
it
okay.
was
Mhm.
it was identified to be not as a fraud call.
Okay.
So it all false and positive negative, true false and positive negative will depend on what definitions you are doing. But
Correct.
these kind of calls are much more dangerous. And AI is learning every day, so we are trying to cope up with these different kinds of frauds which are happening. At the same time, the fraudulent people are also creating innovative solutions from their end. But AI is trying to be the vigilant gatekeeper to some extent, that it can reduce those chances of getting fraud.
Excellent. So that means it's a continuous process, and also they
Yeah.
are trying to incorporate that truth table right into their AI
Mm.
algorithm in some way, so that they can really understand that okay, true false is okay, true true is okay, but false true is the most dangerous one. False false is, we all know, right? It is the wrong thing. But when it comes to false true, it can have an impact. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. Now, coming to the right customer experience and the personalization. Now, we know that the telecom has historically struggled with the customer experience, or let's say responding to customer challenges. But with the AI chatbot, in fact, not only in telecom, now these days in most of the cases in the customer service has been replaced by the AI chatbots. But we are also seeing there are some challenges whenever it is going beyond certain defined or learned right algorithm, then the AI chatbot is kind of failing. It is not able to right handle those kind of situation. So, but still, AI chatbots, predictive insights, and hyper personalized plans are changing that story. So, my question is, how are telecom companies using AI to deliver more personalized and proactive customer experience? Because they are typically responsive to a certain pattern of question, but when it goes beyond too personalized or goes into too personalized questions, right, then somehow it is struggling, right? So, how are we trying to, or what is our vision? Maybe we are not yet there, but what is next in that evolution?
Right. I'll start with few things which has already happened, like I was mentioning multiple times, reactive to proactive.
Correct.
So this is already happening.
Mhm.
The next thing, which is the analyzing the customer traffic and the customer intent in both in the real time. And with this, if the AI senses if the video quality is getting dropped, it
Mhm.
has not dropped or it has not stopped yet, but
Mhm.
it is the quality is getting dropped,
Mhm.
then it routes to a better channel.
Mhm.
Or sometimes it will also happen that it will ask the user, do you want to get a booster pack? So
Correct.
at that particular point of time, this is
Mhm.
one kind of use cases that we are seeing. Conventional chatbots, voice bots are already there. They're great services
Mhm.
where we do not have to stay in the line for the next available executive to
Correct.
support us, and
Mhm.
then the call goes on for 30 minutes. And then those are very conversational these days,
Right.
and multilingual as well. So a lot of reach is increasing. The tailored offers as per the customer uses is not there. But there are the things which are not happening in the right way as well. A few days back, I heard that somebody has talked to those chatbots so many times, and then it was not measured in some way that I think the person bought a car in with $1 because it has talked to the AI so many times, and then have said. I think we were discussing this in our last conference, agentic AI conference as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's very funny as well. Now, with where do we see this going? Now, with the agentic AIs, you can see this as it is an intelligent enough to act autonomously, right? When I say autonomously, there are also algorithms there. There are various kinds of agentic working which an AI can be there. Not going into those details. However, when we say agentic AIs, it can work as a personal digital concierge.
Correct.
So it senses poor signal, it adjusts bandwidth, it offers premium services. Now, there is also some concept like if you think about as a plane, it still takes every class from economy, premium economy to business class,
Correct.
from point A to point B, right? So still
Right.
you are doing one particular transaction. However, in business class, it is assured that at some point of time you will be these transactions will go smooth. At some point of time you will be able to see these videos smooth. At some point of time you will be able to do a phone call smooth. Again, these might be a little bit difficult to digest at this point of time because we have been used to an open kind of services at the cheapest price throughout these days where telecom was there in the world. However, the things are changing. If we are having the premium services, we should be able to give the premium price for that, or we will be asked to give a premium price for that. So scheduling the plans, even these kinds of things, like if my plan needs to be an upgrade, if I have to open a ticket, probably before I even as a user I even go and open a ticket, the agentic AI will be able to open the ticket on my behalf for my Wi-Fi, which probably is going to be down in some hours. So, in summary, human activities, it is not replacing the human activities. AI is amplifying the empathy and the responsiveness. So, I like to ask you a question, Shubho.
Please.
So,
Yes.
if you are given a choice of having uh, premium economy or business class treatment for telephony with a premium price, will you be opting for it? Given that there obviously there are some slices or um, given there are some offers which you see that okay, these are good, will you be ready to pay some premium price for it?
Excellent. No, I think that's a very valid and a practical question. And my first answer would be, right, it depends. It depends on my need. Now let me
Hmm.
explain it a little bit. Now, if I work in such an environment where I need to be always in a video call, my situation demands that, correct?
Hmm.
And I cannot get dropped on the video call, and I cannot say that, okay, I'm breaking up, like I'm saying, hearing some network problem, etc. Right? So in that situation, I'll definitely opt for it. But in such situation that where maybe every day, right, I might be looking for option that where I need maybe a couple of hours, right, or maybe
Hmm.
1 or 2 hours where I need to, right, be in a very high network, right, situation. In that case, I might be opting for that. And in some of the cases where I just need to be in a listening mode, I do not need to come online, or I may not be delivering anything, only in a kind of listening mode. In that case, I would think that my typical 5G will be working for me. Like I'll go ahead with a basic phone. Now, typically, I can just give you one example, real-time example from my case also. I'm using Alliance Broadband. And I'm confident that, okay, we are able to go ahead with the right normal 5G plan. That's a starter pack. But whenever, right, let's say there is a World Cup coming up for the next 1 month of time, and where I need to see a good streaming, which my normal 5G will not be able to provide. So what I'll typically do, I'll go ahead with a 1 month of booster pack, which will give me a great bandwidth, right, for the next 1 month, so that I can see a great HD live streaming. So people are ready to pay price provided they are going to get that enhanced service. Because sometimes people have this kind of frustration in mind that, okay, I'm ready to pay price, but still I'm not getting the service. It is as good as what I'm getting in the 5G, then the frustration comes in. I hope, right, whenever you are offering the plan, we should be able to distinctively, right, see that kind of differentiation in terms of the service offered.
Right. Super personalization in those cases has to be there.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
then it will be the job of the AI also to remind you, see, last year, 4 years back, you have seen the Football World Cup. Football World Cup is coming now. Do you want to have a booster pack or not? And there
Exactly.
comes the learning and all those things. Very handy.
Correct. Correct. Thank you. Now, I heard you said, right, certain terminology saying network slicing, right, massive MIMO, massive input, massive output, then latency, or sorry, multiple input, multiple output, and latency sensitive services, right, are becoming mainstream, right? These are all powered by AI. Now, I'm sure, like, right, I'm not saying wrong, but you can always correct me that whatever I was hearing from some of my other friends who are still doing research on the 5G area, that in India, even if we are operating in the 5G, but they are not real 5G, quote unquote, right?
Mm,
Real 5G offers a lot more than what we
mm,
have been offered with, right? But we started talking about 6G, and if you remember, like in Agile Kolkata only, there was one session, right, given by Vijan Bhattacharya, so which was talking about actual that Professor Shanku's thought process about the tensor flow, etc.,
mm,
etc. How can you see a person, like maybe the person is delivering a lecture in San Francisco, but you will be seeing that he is giving lecture in the Calcutta University Auditorium or Jadavpur University Auditorium, something like that. Right. So this is called the AI for network and network for AI concept. Right. I'm not going there. But my question to you would be, what are the offerings that you are foreseeing? I know that it's maybe still not streamlined, but what are the offerings are you envisioning at this point, right, from the 6G perspective?
okay. Let me first take that point where we say that 5G is not fully in India.
Mm-hmm.
So there is something called the 5G standalone. That means the infrastructure, the whole full stack is a 5G.
Mm-hmm.
However, most of the areas still now will have 5G non-standalone, 5G NSA. That means many of our infrastructure which were there in 4G, we will not scrap them, right? There is a lot of cost that the telecom service providers have invested in it. The boxes there are very costly. So
Mm-hmm.
they have repurposed it. So in those cases, what we are having a lot of 4G equipments, some 5G might be there, and on top of it, we are running a 5G module. In such cases, few things like slicing is not possible. Slicing
Correct.
will only be possible if we have the full stack on 5G. So
Exactly.
the friends who were talking about the 5G not being 100% 5G were absolutely correct because they are into the system and they know the system better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now coming to the 6G, while 5G was more about fast, like speed and all, 6G is more about sensing, the Internet of Senses. While we're talking about IoT these days,
Mm-hmm.
the 6Gs will be iOS.
Mm-hmm.
So Internet of Senses will be there. Now, few of the things which I feel very interesting, some of the cases will be like coming, are like the whole telecom infrastructure becomes the architecture becomes AI native. What we have
Mm-hmm.
heard about is cloud native, right? Now we are saying AI native. What it means that it will have the learning, the machine learning will be there at every layer. It
Mm-hmm.
will be like in spectrum allocation, it will be
Mm-hmm.
in the edge orchestration, etc. So it is AI native infrastructure. And in a use case which will be very popular is what you just mentioned. It's almost like teleportation, right? Somebody is there in New Jersey and the person is sitting
Correct.
there, it seems to the user.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So digital twins or the virtual replicas of various things, but that will not be of only objects. When we say
Correct.
digital twins, it can be of a person, or it can be of an object, or it can be of a process, even, right? So when we say the digital replica of a person, it can be that use case that we just talked about. But when we say the digital replication or digital twin, virtual replica of a process is there, in that case, AI will be able to identify even more, and the prediction, the fault prevention will be more. So it can simulate what has happened earlier based on the data, what has happened earlier and what is happening now. It will simulate and give an output. The output can be that, okay, there can be a fault later on. So those digital twins will be a great use case for 6G. And obviously, the agentic AIs will be there, where if you think the agentic AI, it's kind of small AI sitting and doing various jobs, and then they are talking to each other, giving input and output from taking input and output from each other. Like one agent is managing the quality of service, one managing the energy use, one is managing the cyber security. Various agents are doing their own work, and the overall system is becoming AI native as well. So those use
Excellent.
cases will be very, very popular in 6Gs, I feel.
Excellent. Now, coming to a very pertinent question right today, that telecom cannot live without data, and they are, I think, the most, I would say, most common infrastructure which is having access to our private data, because everything that we
Yeah.
enter, right, is accessible by the network, right? So I think, like, we talk about responsible AI, we talk about ethical AI, but I think network or telecom, right, that they are the most, I would say, the easiest infrastructure who can be, or who can access our data to the right best possible way, or to the I would say, I mean, they are accessing our data the most, I would, right?
Yeah.
Now, from that perspective, with great data comes great responsibility that we all know of. So telecom networks handle extremely sensitive data, from the location to personal communication. Question is, what are the regulations, right? What are the things that we are doing? How can telecom companies ensure AI system remains ethical, transparent, and privacy compliant? Because if they are, right, making any mistake, then we all are gone. All our sensitive information are becoming, right, public, because that is something which they are focusing too much, I'm sure. But how are they doing it? How are they, I mean, without compromising innovation, right? How are they dealing with this?
Right. As you very correctly said, the telecom or the telephony has the most sensitive, has the access to most sensitive of our data. It might be our personal financials, it might be our personal space where we are, exact geolocations, etc. It can, these information needs to be protected. So AI is trying to, or AI is being built to protect all these sensitive data. Few of the things that our big tech giants or the telco giants are doing are the ethical AI governance is one point where they'll have the checkpoints on the data sourcing, where the data is coming from, if there is any biasness in the data, if there is explainability in the data. As we sometimes say, AI is a black box. There has to be explainability. If I'm getting these particular offers in my screen, why am I getting it? If some user asks, then the organization is bound to answer that. They can't say, "Oh, my AI has given."
Right.
It is not acceptable.
Exactly.
These telco giants are also having ethical boards which are multidisciplinary. They'll have somebody from marketing, from engineering, from sales, from human resources, from various disciplines. They'll have the ethical boards. So privacy has to be by the design, and then when privacy will come from the design, when it is from the very first line of code, when somebody is writing that. So
Absolutely.
who does it? First of all, the architects will be preparing that, the developers will be preparing that. So it has to be at every layer of the organization who are building these. So it's a kind of a culture as well. So ethic is not only about the policies or not only about the policy makers, it is in the people, all the developers, all the architects, all the testers, all the project managers. They have to be cognizant about these facts. And that's why the cultural uh, awareness of privacy and security is also a big area where all the telecom giants are working.
Absolutely. Now, the last point, right, which is very, very relevant, that we all learned about the different innovation, the different strategy, the different execution challenges, but ultimately nothing is successful without the workforce or the skill readiness. That is the ultimate
Valid.
thing, right? So AI is not changing the technology; it is changing people as well. Because the way we learned the communication engineering 25 years back, and the way people are studying. In fact, I am kind of associated with some of the institute, right? And we have been seeing, we have been asking them, okay, what are all things are you infusing in your course curriculum? And we are seeing there are various things, right? Starting from the core AI data science foundation to the network design optimization, cloud age, distributed, AI-driven telecom analytics, right? All these things are part of their course curriculum. Now, being a leader or being an executive in the telecom industry for quite some time, right? How are telecom organizations preparing their workforce for the AI era? And sometimes that there are a lot of association, right, between the industry and the academia where they are sometimes curating their courses. I know that SNU University has a tie-up with TCS, and TCS was kind of creating their syllabus, and they were kind of having a pack. Okay, if you can just go ahead with this syllabus, of course, we are going to absorb a lot more people. So in that case, it's a win-win for both of them. SNU is getting, some of their graduates getting into the kind of TCS, and TCS is also kind of, the training is not required, exactly. And that their training part is also kind of cost is kind of taken care of. So what skill are becoming more critical so that we can say the workforce is automatically become ready? Because telecom is not only the area, right? But whenever they are going ahead with let's say telecommunication engineering, of course, what are the key skills that you are expecting from them?
Right. Telecommunication is now becoming a horizontal, as I believe. It is not vertical. It's not about the telephone, but the telecommunication industry is becoming the baseline on top of which healthcare may stand, on top of which financial may stand, right?
Correct.
So, for a workforce to be ready with that, obviously the technical knowledge is important. Also, the ethical and the responsible AI use has to be very important. Uh, a very important part is the human centric skills, like different kinds of thinking, first order thinking, second order thinking. Then you have the blue ocean strategies. All those things might be difficult to first grasp for any college students, but human centric skills need to be there.
Correct.
While saying that, the most important things will be the adaptability and lifelong learning, because
That's a
whatever
mindset,
is
yeah.
5G and 6G today
Right.
will be 7G, 8G.
Correct.
I don't know how many. It will be adapting and it will be changing. That is, the change is the only constant here. So the adaptability and lifelong learning will be important not only for a person who is there in the college and joining an organization, but the person who is there in an organization for last 15 years, working in the same industry for last 20 years. Sometimes the complacency happens that, okay, I know everything of this industry. There's nothing new. So that mindset change has to happen, and everyone needs to continuously learn and adapt with this changing world.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Paramita. We are on top of time. We are 10 minutes over. I see there are quite a few comments, but anyone has any question for Paramita? Okay. First, Prabhat, if you allow me, I'll let Pritam go first, and then I'll come to you, Prabhat. Yeah, Pritam, go ahead.
Okay. First of all, Paramita, thank you for your time. You have explained a lot of things to us, and there was a lot of optimism. But I mean, this is not only a question to you, but it's a kind of introspection here. As an end user, what I see is that over the last 10 years, I mean, if I even not touch the AI part of it, what I see is that there is a lack of intent at the policy layer, in the sense that while you are very optimistic, while you have spoken about the business side, the margin side, and all that, uh, I mean, my feeling is that, say, for example, I'm sitting in this room and I'm using a Tata Fiber. I am promised 2.5 and a 5G, both bandwidths are there, toggling, but the 5G works just near the router, and when I sit away, it is 2.4, 2.5G, right? So that's a fact. That is one. The way we started, where Prabhat and Shubho were talking about the network drops, a normal call cannot be called, right? I mean, we have to switch back to a WhatsApp call. What I feel typically is that if it is not about intent at the policy at the regulations layer, what my understanding is that India being a third world country, the data influx and the bulk of data that is being handled is nothing is free. We are the product. It is being used to take the human inputs to create data models. Now we know the entire story. What is happening here is that I have spoken to even the field agents, and I've spoken to them, and who stand in my society. I have sometimes ranting to them that what is happening to my network. You promise this, you promise that. I don't get anything. Now there is a catch here. No company, Airtel, Vodafone, whatever company you take, nobody wants works for a charity. Either leveraging profits, or they will do bank frauds. Simple. There is no third way out. They will not declare bankruptcy. Second is that what I see is that if there was everybody was a holy cow, then how could Starlink come in? Because the moment Starlink was an opportunity. Why did Starlink come in? Because it was like for the remote areas. Now, when Starlink comes in, these very holy cows that Jio and Airtel, the front runners, they patched up with Starlink. Then why the hell couldn't they provide the infra beforehand? So what I see from the user point of view, I completely appreciate your best practices, your positivity, your best ideas that you shared, that could be, should be, and so on, the ideal cases. But what I feel is that there is a sincere lack of intent. There is huge corruption happening in the background, and then anybody who doesn't toe the line is going to be sent to the limbo. And as end users, we are not getting anything. And even in WhatsApp calls also, again I'm saying, even if you use AI, right, AI has to work on the existing infra. When you talk about cloud also ends up at some data centers. It has also got a limited capacity. At certain times, when I use ChatGPT at 2:30 in the night, or say Gemini, sometimes they say that we are feeling a kind of huge spike, so try tomorrow, right? So cloud doesn't mean my cloud, which is like short of the make. It is like somewhere there are data centers which are also having a capacity limit. So what my intent is that, according to the, first of all, the distribution part of it. Second is that the remote areas, they are using 2G phones, and I mean, how did Starlink get an idea that I will help them? Nobody is helping anyone. It's a kind of transactional business. They are having a penetration in the opportunity. Now, what is happening here is that the TRAI, under the whosoever incumbent government it is, I mean, I'm not talking about any party per se, but what I see is that the lack of intent is actually pushing. And when you said na, that this is happening in Africa, this, that, whatever, just look at the pattern. It is just the third world of the emerging countries. They are being used as the data bulk, and then I will create scarcity, and then I will give you the option. Would you like a booster pack? Would you like this pack, that pack? I'm squeezing money from you in all ways, and then I'm giving you. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying, right? So yeah, this was more of a kind of, I completely appreciate the business mind that you have, the intent that you have as a process implementation perspective. But what I see is that until and unless the policy layer helps you, I mean, we are still stagnant.
You know, geopolitical situation is one of the top two challenges that the telecom industry is facing. And then if the world, if you see, there are, it's like divided. So we have something going in the US side where we have that they do not have any local vendor, right? US do not have any telecom local vendors, so they are depending on the Nordic vendors. Europe, if you remember, in a few months back, I think Spain had 1 day of outage, full 24 hours of outage. Everything was down. Then Southeast Asia has their own different kinds of geopolitical challenges. The government changes so many times, the policymakers change so many times. So every time they see a new person there in the politics, there's a lot of issues there as well. Having said all these challenges, one major thing is the cost of the infrastructure that is happening, that is there. Why one person is able to make a Starlink? Because it has a lot of cost involved. That person has a lot of money to invest, and then the person has created that, and then the other giants in the world are trying to leverage that. So cooperation, collaboration is it in one place. profit sharing is in another place. Geopolitical is one of the headwinds that we are getting. The R&Ds which we are seeing in various sectors, even in India, we are starting a lot of R&D sections for the organizations previously which weren't there. So with these R&Ds, hopefully we will have the cost of these things to come down, where we have also the energy efficiency is also one thing, where we have the zero power. Some devices are also in line where in the R&Ds. With all those things, if the cost comes down, then I think these problems will be there. But the problems that you are mentioning are genuine. It is coming from a user, you, me, and these are absolutely genuine. I appreciate your speak up.
Thank you, Kirtikam. Prabhat, your thoughts, your
Yeah,
questions.
sure. Thanks, Shubho. And thank you, Paramita, first of all, for enlightening us with this talk. Definitely, I would say, see, in today's hyper-connected world, as you said, trust is the new uptime, right? We have all seen that how the world started off with Truecaller, but today even Truecaller cannot detect fraud calls many a times. It happens so. And thinking on these lines that, what if AI becomes the new caller ID, telling you not who's calling, but why they are calling? Okay.
Exactly, it is.
Also
It is
thinking,
actually doing so.
exactly. Thinking about, no, what if every call had a verified purpose attached to it? And AI can actually read that. As you said, it is trying to do that in today's world. See, we have always seen that, traditionally in our VUCA world, trust has been treated as a very soft emotional outcome, right? Captured through customer surveys, net promoter scores, all of that, broad perception studies. But I wanted to actually know your thoughts on how can AI make trust a measurable network KPI, okay, not
Hmm.
just a customer sentiment. Any thoughts on that?
A very, very valid one because with as you mentioned about the VUCA world, now it has become bunny. It's brittle, it's anxious. I'm looking it up because it is also I do not remember as well. It's non-linear and it's incomprehensible. So it's a new form that we have. It's super VUCA right now, BANI, bunny world right now. But with the various KPIs that we have, trust has to be one of the major KPIs. But what exactly are the parameters that will be mentioned? Probably that will depend on the organizations, and then they need to define it. But trust is the probably is the basic thing on which all these things will be the security part. All these things will be defined. All these things will be standing up. But exactly what all definitions will be there, probably we need to wait and watch.
Thank you very much, Paramita.
Shubhra.
Thank you.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank both of you, Shubhu and Paramita, for this wonderful discussion that happened. And my question on this would be like, these days we get to hear a new term called AIoT, right?
Mm,
With the convergence of AI and IoT.
mm.
And I'm sure that this is something that the telecom industry is using, I mean, widely. So my question would be how this AIoT is helping with, I mean, helping the telecom industry with providing security, especially the cloud and edge security mentioned.
IoT, when we see about what is it about, it is two devices talking to each other. For example, if I have a refrigerator and things are running low, is an ideal use case. My refrigerator would be able to place an Amazon order if they are connected, so that the amount is already deducted from my some account which is my allowed account, and then it deducts from there, and then the amount reaches, or then the things reach to my home automatically. So there are a lot of or billions of devices which are there. There might be small microchips which are there embedded in between, like various other devices. With the volume of data which are being generated, then obviously there will be sensitive information as well. And again, for the sensitive information, AI should be having the ethical boards, how the definitions, the policies which has to be created or which has to be established. The privacy has to be embedded at every layer. What I was mentioning about the developers and the testers and the architects also being cognizant about how to deal with private data, with sensitive data, and then in every layer of the AI infrastructure, the privacy and the security needs to be embedded. While saying that, the volume in the AIoT is so huge that it is not humanly possible to do it manually. So there has to be some AI agent who will be taking care of that. But these things are super sensitive, and then the research and developments are going on. It has to improve a lot again. It has to improve a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank you,
question. Thanks for the question, Shubhra.
Okay. Any other thoughts? Any other questions? Okay. So if not, first of all, thank you so much, Paramita, for this, right, for sharing these insights with us. We learned a lot of things, right? We learned the current challenges, right? We learned so many things from your questions, everyone. We learned about the concepts of, right, network slicing, right, and many other offerings, right, that the 5G is coming up with. Now, AI has not been that we all know. It's a cliched thing that AI recommendations, right? It has been there for quite some time, for the last 10 years at least, but then it was not reaching to us. Now for the last 2 to 3 years, it has reached to us in a more popular manner after the ChatGPT and other things that are coming in, right? So as Abhijit rightly said, that Amazon and other things are the recommendations which we are using, but maybe on the background, they were using the same kind of logic, but which was not known to us at that point. I mean, to the majority of the people, maybe to the technical specialists, they were knowing it. Yes, it is. We were using AI in the background, but right. So it is not a kind of news story. It has been there for the last 10 years, or maybe even more than that. But maybe it has come to the surface, right, very recently. Now, another thing I would like to talk about that the story of AI support system that Paramita has been talking about. It is again nothing new today. It has been there, right? Maybe but yeah, it has come to the surface. It has come up with a lot of offerings in a direct note, right? In the last 5 years. So we are seeing a lot of optimism there. We are seeing that a lot of challenges at the same time. But we all believe that with the new investment in the technology, with the right intent and with the right balancing act, right, as Pitam rightly mentioned, that we are really seeing some silver lining in the cloud, that we are optimistic that definitely is going to bring a lot of benefits for us. But again, as multiple time Paramita said, that is not going to be right just as a kind of acting as an assistant, but it should be a kind of really intelligent in terms of defining the strategy, but for the human well-being, but not only for the profit making, right? But it should be for the entire human being, so that everyone gets the benefit out of it, right? So it should not be only promoted for just a kind of pricing strategy or an offering strategy, as Pitam was talking about, that we will create that artificial scarcity in the network and then offering it with a booster pack, so that like everyone is bound to go for that network because they are really facing trouble. But yeah, there should be a balancing act throughout the right in the entire industry. But thank you so much again, Paramita. Can't thank you enough. Thanks, Pitam. Thanks, Shubha. Thanks, Prabhat, right, for your great question. And of course, Abhijit for playing a little bit of devil's advocate and asking a fantastic question. So we'll meet again and we'll come up with some interesting thoughts. I think next session is on Shukonna, who is going to explain us on the Tara, right, the new concept that is coming up. And I will be sending out some flyers in the LinkedIn. If possible, just try to make that, right, make it. Thank you so much again.
Thank
Take
you
care.
for having
Bye-bye.
me.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.